I remember sitting in my car in the parking lot of my office building, staring at the steering wheel, completely exhausted. I was 54 years old, at the height of my career as a sales executive, and I was running on fumes. I was managing teams across 3 time zones, flying out every other week, and dealing with a constant hum of pressure that never seemed to let up. But the exhaustion I felt wasn't just from the work. It was a deeper, more systemic kind of fatigue. It was the kind of fatigue that settles into your bones when you realize your body is no longer responding the way it used to, and you have absolutely no idea how to fix it. I was married at the time, and the physical distance between us was growing wider every month. When you feel your physical readiness slipping away, you don't talk about it. You don't bring it up over dinner. You hide it. You start working later. You manufacture stress. You create reasons to be too tired, too distracted, or too busy for intimacy. And in the quiet moments when you're alone, you wonder what exactly is breaking down inside you. One of the questions that haunted me during that time, a question I know almost every man thinks about but rarely says out loud, is about frequency. What actually happens if you release every single day? Is it healthy? Is it harmful? Could it be the secret to boosting your performance? Or is it secretly draining your energy over time? I used to think that more frequency meant more vitality. I thought that if I could just keep the engine running, keep the system active, I could somehow hold off the inevitable decline. But the truth is, the human body is not a machine that thrives on constant, unyielding demand. We live in a culture that associates daily physical release with extreme youth and unstoppable energy. We are sold this idea that a healthy man is a man who is constantly active, constantly seeking that release. And when we hit our 50s and that frequency naturally starts to shift, we panic. We think something is fundamentally broken. We think we are losing our edge. But what I had to learn the hard way is that there is a massive difference between a healthy habit and an unhealthy compulsion. And more importantly, I had to learn that the mechanics of the male body change as we age, and demanding daily performance from an older system without understanding how it works is a recipe for complete physical and emotional burnout. Let's talk about the biology of it for a minute, because understanding the mechanics is the only way to get your confidence back. When you ejaculate, your brain releases a powerful cocktail of chemicals. You get a flood of endorphins, which are your body's natural painkillers. You get a massive hit of dopamine, the reward chemical that motivates and energizes you. You release oxytocin, the bonding hormone that builds connection, and serotonin, the stabilizer that keeps your mood even. Biologically, this release resets your nervous system. Emotionally, it can calm anxiety, lighten your mood, and help you feel more grounded. Practically, that means less tension, less bottled up stress, and more day-to-day resilience. It acts like a natural reset button, providing a gentle, consistent support for mental health. And there are other benefits too. Have you ever noticed feeling heavy-eyed and exhausted right afterward? That's because of prolactin, a hormone that actively promotes relaxation and sleep. Add that to the stress-reducing endorphins and oxytocin, and you've got a built-in sleep aid. For men who struggle with racing thoughts or stress, this can mean falling asleep faster and staying asleep longer. Biologically, it's about hormones. Emotionally, it's about relief. And practically, it means better recovery, sharper focus, and more energy the next day. It also acts as a full-body exercise. During arousal, your blood vessels dilate, your heart rate increases, and circulation ramps up everywhere. This vasodilation helps deliver oxygen and nutrients to your muscles and your brain. It's essentially a mini workout for your vascular system, which helps keep your cardiovascular system responsive, an incredibly overlooked piece of men's health. There is also the highly compelling finding from a major Harvard study that followed over 30,000 men for nearly 20 years. They found that men who ejaculated 21 times or more per month had a significantly lower risk of prostate cancer. The theory is that the ejaculation process helps flush out the prostate, actively removing old cells, inflammatory agents, and other buildups that could otherwise increase cancer risk. It's a natural cleansing process that offers real reassurance about one of our biggest health fears. And finally, studies show that sexual arousal and orgasm can actually boost levels of IgA, an immunoglobulin that serves as one of your body's first-line defenses against viruses and bacteria. Combine that with the lower stress, and you get subtle but very real immune system support. When you look at that list of benefits, it is incredibly easy to conclude that daily release is the absolute key to male health. It is easy to think that if you just keep the frequency high, you will sleep better, protect your prostate, boost your immune system, and stay sharp. That is exactly what I thought in my early 50s. I treated my body like a machine that needed to be run hard every single day to keep the rust off. But I was ignoring the other side of the equation. I was ignoring the profound physical and emotional cost of demanding that level of performance from a system that was fundamentally changing. Because the truth is, daily ejaculation isn't automatically good, and it isn't automatically bad. It entirely depends on why you're doing it, how you're doing it, and what actual impact it is having on your body and your mind. Some men might thrive on a daily release, finding better sleep and less stress. But others, and I was absolutely one of them, may find that it dulls their desire, drains their energy, and secretly creates massive performance issues over time. Here's what nobody tells you about the drawbacks. The first major issue is when it becomes a compulsive behavior. There is a huge difference between choosing daily ejaculation consciously for pleasure or intimacy and feeling completely controlled by the urge. If it starts interfering with your work, your focus, or your actual relationships, it is veered into compulsive territory. Biologically, these compulsive patterns can literally rewire your brain's reward system. Emotionally, they create deep guilt and shame. Practically, they drain your time and your intimacy with your partner. You have to ask yourself, are you choosing this, or is it choosing you? The second drawback, and this is the one that hit me the hardest, is using it as an emotional crutch. We all face massive stress, loneliness, and frustration, especially when our careers are demanding everything we have. But if ejaculation becomes your only tool for coping with that stress, it may be masking much deeper emotional needs. Biologically, it creates a severe dependency on one single pathway for relief. Emotionally, it prevents real healing, and practically, it keeps you from building healthier outlets like exercise, connection, or honest communication. Ejaculation should be one tool in your life, not the only tool. There's also the issue of fertility. If you are actively trying to conceive, daily ejaculation can significantly lower your sperm concentration. Biologically, sperm need time to replenish, usually 48 to 72 hours. Emotionally, this can create massive stress for couples. And practically spacing out the frequency every 2 to 3 days is often a much better strategy. But the fourth drawback is the one that destroys confidence faster than anything else: reduced sensitivity and desire. Paradoxically, too much of a good thing can completely blunt your reward system. Daily ejaculation, especially when it is rushed or repetitive, can dramatically lower your physical sensitivity and reduce your spontaneous desire. Biologically, your brain adapts, dampening the punch of the dopamine. Emotionally, it creates a flat, completely unmotivated feeling. Practically, you will notice far less arousal with your actual partner. And that leads directly to the fifth and most destructive drawback: performance issues. If your daily release happens through quick, hurried stimulation, your body actively learns speed. Over time, this conditions premature ejaculation or massive performance anxiety when you are actually with a partner. Biologically, your nervous system adapts to sprint mode. Emotionally, it creates deep frustration for both of you. And practically, it completely undermines your confidence in the bedroom. I realized that I had been sprinting for years. I had been using frequent rush release as a way to manage my corporate stress, to help me sleep in hotel rooms, and to prove to myself that the plumbing still worked. But in doing so, I had completely rewired my nervous system for speed, and I had blunted my own physical sensitivity. When the time came for actual sustained intimacy with my wife, my body had nothing left in the tank. The system was exhausted, the dopamine receptors were fried, and the structural integrity simply wasn't there. The turning point for me didn't come from a doctor. It came from the realization that I had to stop treating my body like a cheap rental car. After my divorce and after I met Alyssa, I knew I had to fundamentally change my approach. Alyssa is a woman who expects presence. She expects you to actually be there, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. I couldn't hide behind exhaustion anymore. I couldn't use a quick release as a stress valve. I stopped focusing on the frequency of the release and started focusing on the quality of the internal infrastructure. I realized that short breaks, even just a few days of spacing things out, could completely reset my physical sensitivity and restore the spark that I thought I had lost forever. I had to train my body for rhythm and connection, not just for a rapid release. I had to slow down. I started paying close attention to my body. I tracked my energy levels, my mood, and my actual libido. I experimented with the frequency. I tried spacing it out to see what actually felt best for my physical system. I made sexual release just one tool in a much larger wellness toolkit. I started communicating honestly with Alyssa about what I was feeling, instead of hiding it in the dark. What I discovered is that when you stop demanding daily, mechanical performance from a body over 50, and you start giving it the time and the space to actually recover and build tension, the results are incredible. The confidence returns. The heavy, flat feeling disappears. You stop feeling like you are constantly running on empty. You realize that age is not the end of your vitality. Your body can absolutely adapt. Your health can improve and your confidence can grow, regardless of whether you are 50 or 70. You have to ask yourself the hard questions. Why are you doing what you are doing? Is it for stress relief, pleasure, intimacy, or has it become a blind compulsion? How is it actually affecting you? Are you sleeping better and feeling confident, or are you noticing deep fatigue, emotional flatness, and silent guilt? If you're sitting there right now, feeling that quiet dread, feeling like your prime is behind you, I need you to know that you have the power to adjust. Small changes, whether it is adding a break, slowing down the process, or using intimacy as a point of connection instead of an escape route, can give you back your energy, your confidence, and your absolute control. It is not about strict rules. It is about radical, honest self-awareness. I stopped sprinting. I stopped using my body as a stress relief valve. I started respecting the mechanics of recovery and the importance of structural tension. And that is exactly how I got my confidence back. That is why I tell men every single day that daily sex after 60 isn't the key. You have to boost your performance instead.